I'm going to describe my childhood from the late 90s and early 2000s with things. Let's begin. Xbox, N64, Pokemon Stadium, Toys R Us, Hollywood Video, these Logitech wireless Xbox controllers, Creed, Disturbed, Trix Yogurt, Tennis with Ganon, Degeneration X, this Gerber commercial, AddictingGames.com, The Evolution of Dance, Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, and of course,
EA Games.
Challenge everything.
The Lord of the Rings. I love Lord of the Rings more than the Breath of Life itself. Just kidding. Kind of. I've already made a video talking about my love for the franchise as a whole, so I will link that down below. In this video, I specifically want to talk about the two Lord of the Rings games based off of the films, The Two Towers and The Return of the King. That's right, they never made one based off of the Fellowship of the Ring. The Fellowship of the Ring game is based off of the book. Yes, I have played that one. And yes, I got stuck in the Mines of Moria as a kid and never beat it. And yes, I will go back and beat it as an adult and make a video about it. But not today. The Two Towers was the first Lord of the Rings game I played on my Xbox back in the day. What a cool freaking game. Even going through and playing now as an adult, it was still a blast. It was a very nostalgic blast, but it was still a blast of fun. Back in the day, I used to think these graphics were so good, the best in the industry. Gandalf and Aragorn and Legolas and Gimli and Sean Bean, they've aged like a fine milk, curdled to perfection. We don't play games for graphics in this household, but I do like pretty graphics. I know I just said a few sentences ago that a game based off of the Fellowship movie never happened, but I also kind of lied. In The Two Towers, the Fellowship is covered, which takes us right into the game. We start off with the opening war scene where we play as Isildur, slaying orcs, and then we watch our daddy take a mace to the face, blasting to outer space. We slice off Sauron's special fingers and then not throw the ring into the fire. I always loved as a kid that the game goes from movie scenes to in-game cutscenes and back almost seamlessly at times. We get to choose from 3 characters, Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli. I always chose Aragorn first because it forces you to beat another level after that beginning war where you then fight the ring race on top of Weathertop. Frodo gets stabbed and you level up. The game's a hack and slash where you get XP that you can spend on new moves and power-ups. This level up screen was always a thrill for me, getting to see how many perfect kills I got. Usually 0. But all those fair kills still net me tons of XP that I can spend on better arrows, more health, and awesome combos. I still can never time these parry execution moves, and it drives me nuts. The combat is really where this game shines. Hitting a bunch of orcs with sick combos and then stabbing them on the ground to finish them off is so satisfying. Plus you get these crispy sound effects that just butter your biscuits. Ooh, baby. As a kid, I'd always pretend I was fighting orcs with my toy swords and whatnot, so playing the game was a way for me to live that fantasy in a fantasy. I loved playing as the different characters, leveling them up and getting different combos. Gimli is a brute tank and hits hard but is slower. Legolas is more methodical with his attacks and of course shoots plenty of arrows. And Aragorn is kind of a mix where he hits hard but is also methodical with his fighting. After Weathertop, you head to the Gates of Moria and fight the octopus. Then we head to Balin's Tomb and fight the troll. Amon Hen and fight Lurtz, and then we are finally into the Two Towers part of the game. Fangorn Forest, then the Plains of Rohan, Westfold, then the Gap of Rohan where we fight wargs and the warg boss, then we get to Helm's Deep where we defend the wall, then the Breached Wall, and then the Hornburg Courtyard. Then you beat the game. I would say for the most part the levels aren't really hard at all. I mean, you can play on harder difficulties, but I'll pass on that. Defending the wall can be annoying, getting overrun by orcs, destroying the catapult can also be annoying, but other than those 2 levels, I really enjoyed them all. After you beat the game, you unlock the Tower of Orthanc, which is 20 floors you have to fight through. Once you beat that, you unlock Isildur and the cheat codes, which are fun to mess around with. There's also interviews with some of the actors. Yes, they brought back the main actors to do the voices, which is super cool. There's also artwork, photos from the film, and behind-the-scenes content. It's super cool they put extra stuff like this in the game. I mean, it makes sense because the game itself is very short and the only replayability it offers is messing around with the cheat codes and then leveling up all the characters. Not a lot of content here, but the stuff you do get is quality, in my opinion. We even get the music from the movies. The soundtrack is S tier. And that is The Two Towers the game. It's short and sweet and nostalgic for me. The next one is the game that I probably played the most out of the two, The Return of the King. Return of the King is everything great about The Two Towers with more content, characters, and couch co-op. I remember first renting this game from Hollywood Video back in the day with my cousin. There were so many weekends where I would go over to his house and we'd beg his parents to take us to rent the game. We then would try to beat as much as possible, but always got stuck on the Pelennor Fields level. Once we shot the first elephant, we couldn't figure out how to get back down this cliff to run to the other side and shoot the second one. The level design was jank. Or maybe we were just dumb kids. The couch co-op made this game so much more fun to play than The Two Towers. You can now slay hordes of orcs and ghosts and men with your friends. You want to go through Shelob's lair? Take a hobbit buddy with you. You want to protect the White City with Gandalf? Bring a buddy with you. Playing games with someone else makes them that much more fun. The only difference between single player and couch co-op is that you get lives to share amongst two players, whereas in single player you only have one. This is yet another movie tie-in game, so we get scenes from the films, which are always fun for me. The voice actors are back once again, along with the banger soundtrack. The game follows the three main storylines from the movie: Gandalf defending the White City, Aragorn and company getting the Ghost Army and heading to Gondor, and Frodo and Sam making their way through Shelob's lair and eventually destroying the ring. I would say that most of the levels were very fun and doable. Gandalf's campaign was probably the easiest, the Hobbit campaign was probably the hardest because they don't hit as hard, and Aragorn's campaign was probably the most fun of the three. The level that I struggled with the most was the escape sequence after killing the King of the Dead. The rocks are falling, and if you get hit by one, it slows you down, and you die to the cave collapsing and have to start all the way over. Very annoying. Fighting Shelob is a long drawn-out fight of endurance, and the last level in the Hobbit campaign is cool, but hard because there are so many freaking orcs to kill. The Black Gate was also annoying because you have to protect Gandalf, Legolas, and Gimli. It's a small area, but they can die very quickly. Other than that, the game is very fun. You level up just the same as the last, and you can spend points on even more upgrades and combos. Leveling up Gandalf's magic makes him unstoppable, one-shotting literally everything, and same with Legolas, except he shoots 2 arrows at once that melt every enemy. There are way more characters too to play as. You've got the entire Fellowship, but instead of Boromir, you get Faramir. He's a clone fighter of Aragorn, but it's still cool that you get another character to play as. Once again, that is where most of the content lies, in replaying levels to level up characters and unlock all the combos and upgrades. Once you beat the game, you get the secret codes again, which break the game, but were fun to use. There's interviews and behind the scenes stuff along with secret missions, but the extra content wasn't as long or in-depth as in Two Towers. The interviews were incredibly short, but I will take what I can get. Lastly, the only major complaint I had was in combat. When you get hit, there are no iframes to recover. You can keep getting blasted until you die. There were times where I'd get stuck in between a mob of enemies that were having their way with me. That was annoying. But the game is over 20 years old, which makes me sick to think about how fast my life has gone by. These Lord of the Rings games were released during the reign of EA. I remember seeing the EA logo pop up and would get excited because EA only made bangers at that time. I saw this cool interview with one of the developers that worked on these Lord of the Rings games, and this is what he had to say about the game design.
Lord of the Rings is about large areas and then sort of a castle on the end or something, a fortress. What's like that? Tiger Woods. Long areas, and at the end is where you go get food, where you're done. And so we took the Tiger Woods engine and turned that into the Lord of the Rings engine. You just have to be smart about what you do and what you use for an engine.
It's pretty cool to get insights and behind the scenes of things like this that I love. I love these Lord of the Rings games. It was another layer for me to participate in my favorite franchise of all time. I got to be Aragorn and kill orcs. I got to be Frodo as he fights Gollum and destroy the ring. I got to be Gandalf as he fights for the free people of Middle-earth in Minas Tirith. These games were a huge part of my childhood, and playing them now reminded me how much I had played them back in the day. Everything about these games started coming back to me, the good and the bad. I'll always love these Lord of the Rings games despite their flaws and how much they have aged. That being said, I still feel that these are great video games that anyone can pick up and enjoy even now. I love Lord of the Rings. I love the Lord of the Rings video games. and I love you for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are on these games. If you played them back in the day, let me know what Lord of the Rings games I should play next. And thank you guys for watching, and as always, keep it rad.